welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Raya, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. What's up, guys? I'm so excited to be here. Another week spent with you, my favorite people. If you guys are loving the show, please rate 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts. Follow on YouTube if you're a YouTube watcher at Coffee Meets Vodka. And you can follow us on social media at coffee.meets.vodka. And I'm actually going to be starting, I know I'm so behind the times, I'm like chronically millennial, but I'm going to be starting some little deep dives on TikTok so you can get your pop culture fix daily if you need, so you don't have to wait for a whole week for an episode to come out. And I'm excited about that. I just ordered some new little baby iPhone lapel mics today. So hopefully they'll be in by tomorrow, and maybe I'll be starting that soon. And by deep dives, mostly I mean Married at First Sight, Australia, because there's so much shit going on. And I feel like I can't even debrief on an episode because there's just too much going on. So I think social media is where it's at for that. This weekend was Little Miss Penelope's 10th birthday. Can you guys believe that I've been abused for 10 years? And the trainer said she has many, many more years ahead of her. Not a gray hair in sight. Not a gray hair in sight. I do love her. She is my little bean, my little girl. She's, I think every dog or every animal, if you have cats too, but every animal really comes into your life at such a perfect time. And she has really taught me just so much about myself, to be honest. I know that's kind of corny, but I would say her number one lesson in teaching me is that she's really taught me how to accept people where they're at. I really try to force her to be more affectionate, and I want her to perform, i.e. be good when we're outside of the house and all these things. And sometimes she just doesn't want to. So I have to accept that that's where she's at, and that is her mood for the day. And, we got to roll with the punches, and she doesn't want pets. And then sometimes she does want pets, and I don't know. So I think that really helps, or has helped me translate in accepting people where they're at. And also mostly, my mom. Wow, this started off really dark. Not at all what I have on the list. Okay, I wanted to clear some things up really quick. Stories from last week. The Carters are not suing Rihanna. That was indeed false. It was an AI blurb situation. That was not true. There is another conspiracy going around that based off the Gabby Petito documentary, a lot of people are weighing in on TikTok, I'm chronically online, that Brian Laundrie actually isn't dead, and that he's gone away to Mexico or Turkey and got hair transplants and is a different person. I never thought of that. I literally thought he was dead. But it makes sense that the FBI searched for his body for over 30 days, maybe even longer than that. Couldn't find it. They were there was a crazy flood. They were waist deep with waders, trucking through the mud and the water and the swamp and all these things. Couldn't find his body. They finally opened it to the public, and his parents found his body within an hour, hour and a half, darted to where it was supposed to be. Everything was waterproof. His body was severely decomposed. No gun evidence, though. And apparently, if you did that, how do you have your, weird ransom suicide letter, but you don't have the guns? They're saying that the parents helped him escape and bought him a flight somewhere, and that he was never actually at the house when the Florida Police Department came to the parents' house, the Laundrie's house, and was like, "Oh, Brian's here," and they're like, "Can we talk to him?" And they were like, "No." They're saying that he was never there, and that he was always MIA, he fled to Mexico or something. But then a lot of people are he's such a narcissist that I don't think, and he's kind of such a pussy, he wouldn't kill himself. I don't know. I personally think that he's dead. I hope to God he's dead. And then I wanted to go a little deeper on this Oxford COVID story because I didn't touch at all what I said correctly. So I wanted to go deeper on this COVID, this long-term cognitive and psychiatric effects of COVID-19 revealed in a new study by Oxford University. But basically, researchers have found 2 to 3 years after being infected with COVID-19, participants scored on average significantly lower in cognitive tests of attention and memory than they expected. The average deficit was equivalent to 10 IQ points. Oh Lord, not 10 IQ points. I need all the points that they have. Additionally, substantial proportion reported severe symptoms of depression, about 1 in 5 people, anxiety 1 in 8, fatigue 1 in 4, subjective memory problems 1 in 4, and these symptoms are worsening over time. That's what I meant by I have all these. My anxiety has been through the roof. My depression has been through the roof. My fatigue has been through the roof. Now, could this be because I'm working like a dog? Maybe, but I also literally per my doctor, my anxiety is getting worse every time that I see her. And I just constantly feel overwhelmed. I will say usually anxiety outweighs my depression, but my depression has gotten really bad. I wouldn't say, the dark, suicidal that I once was, but it has gotten worse over the last year, I would say, versus where it was kind of pre-COVID, if that makes sense. I do think there's a lot of factors. I think one, COVID was the first time that I actually felt like I was an only child. Every other time, my whole life, I've never really felt the effects of being an only child. COVID really kind of brought it. No one really checked on me. I don't have family. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a loser, whatever. Second, I started a new career in real estate. So I'm constantly worried about, where anybody in sales, in a commission-based sales, is going to worry about where their next check comes from, right? It's a whole new industry that I had to learn. It's managing people's personalities. It's constantly driving around and extending yourself and exerting yourself and being cheery. And all of those things are true, but I also am human and sometimes it does weigh on you. So I do think the ebb and flow of rest is really important, which is why I took this weekend to rest. So I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting about, in the next couple of years, kind of more research has come out about COVID and, the effects that it has on you and everything like that. I mean, I'm interested in that. So, okay, you guys, I finally went to the orthodontist. This is an Invisalign update. I have been stuck on my refinement since September of last year. I was supposed to have a refinement with 13 more trays, and I got stuck on number 8, which it was 6. I think it was 6 out of 13 or something like that. It was just, I don't know. It wasn't 1 through 8. It was 6 through 13 or something like that. So anyways, I basically got stuck at the end of last year on this one tray, and I was like, oh my God, my teeth keep hurting, really excruciatingly. And then I'm like, okay, it makes me not want to wear them. Okay, whatever. I finally gave up. Mind you, in the meantime, I have been trying to book this fucking orthodontist appointment for months. Okay, for months. Since September. It's March. That's almost 6 months, babe. I finally got in. I finally got another refinement. I'm supposed to go get it at the end of this month. So I'm basically starting Invisalign over again. I have not been wearing my trays for months due to my whack-ass orthodontist. I love the Invisalign process. This is actually not against Invisalign. It's solely against the orthodontist. She's rude as hell. I had to make up a lie as to why I wasn't wearing the trays. And I'm just a grown woman. Why are you scolding me like a little 2-year-old? Fuck off. You know what I mean? If I could change my orthodontist, I would. Now, I go to this dentist all the time for regular cleanings and stuff. They're fine. They're chill. The fucking lady who's an orthodontist is so rude. It's just not necessary. Anyways, so I'm excited to get back on. I guess I probably restarted the whole fucking process. You guys, I was listening to Addison Rae's Aquamarine song this week. This is very niche kind of 2000s lore, if you will. I want to bring to your attention. I think Aquamarine sounds exactly like Anna Faris in Just Friends when she's the pop star, and Ryan Reynolds is managing her. Just listen to the song, because let me know if you agree. Do you get it? Doesn't it sound the same? Or am I crazy? Okay, I agree. I can't not think about that movie or On Affair specifically when I listen to Aquamarine. And that's where that sound comes. What does she say? She's like, I can't. She's like, I don't know about that. I'm the talent. Billy McFarland was doing an interview last week saying that there's going to be a Fire Festival too. Did we not learn the first time? He's out of jail and he's back on his bullshit. Okay, I'm not going, and he still said, the interviewer was like, did you lock down your musical guest? And he's like, I'm still trying to lock it down. We're in talks with a lot of people and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was so vague. So the answer is no. I won't be going to Fire Fest. I never went the first time. I am grateful that I'm not really like a festival girly, like the whole Burning Man situation that happened a couple years ago when Diplo was like, I'm stuck in the mud, like, let's get the fuck out of here with like Chris Rock or something. It looked like a Mad Max situation. So anyways, I'm glad that can't be me. Okay, this weekend or last week, the Baldwins premiered on TLC. Alec Baldwin is now in his reality TV era with Hilaria Baldwin, okay? She has been under fire over the last couple of years for having her fake Spanish accent. They immediately addressed this in the first episode saying that, oh, well, you know, I appreciate the Spanish language and I've always been around people who are bilingual and multilingual. And, you know, it's just like when I love talking in Spanish and I love talking in English. And therefore I want to teach my kids like to be bilingual. I'm not mad at that, but she's white and she has like very white, she's from Boston. Like she says that she's Spanish because her parents moved to Spain 5 years ago. And she's like, my name's Hilaria. How do you say cucumber? Like, what? And then the other day she forgot onion. Well, she said onion in Spanish the other day and she forgot it. And she goes, how do you say, oh yeah, onion. Like, okay, who's giving Hilaria a fucking cooking show, first of all? Like, she doesn't even know the basic, like, necessities of the food groups. Second of all, Alec Baldwin is like 65 and has 6 kids, 7 if you count Ireland Baldwin, who, you know, he has with Kim Basinger. And he was under fire in the early 2000s for leaving her voicemail, calling her a little piggy. That's fucked up. They've since made up, and I think they have a decent relationship now. Also, you know, the Baldwins connected to Hailey Baldwin Bieber, and her dad is Stephen Baldwin, who is, you know, brothers with Alec Baldwin. There's 4 of them that are famous, and there's 6 brothers total or something like that. So he has like all of these kids. He's 65. She's like 40 something. They have like a 23-year age gap. He met her when she was a yoga or Pilates instructor. And if you guys remember that one documentary, now I forget, but it was with the vegan lady in New York who like wouldn't pay her employees, and it was like a whole thing. There's a Netflix documentary, and I'll link it in the show notes. I totally am blanking on the name of it, but apparently, allegedly, in that documentary, they say that that's where Alec Baldwin and Hilaria Baldwin met. At that vegan restaurant. I don't think Alec Baldwin ever questioned about like her background. Does he know her? Do they know each other? They kind of are like very negging towards each other. Mind you, she's a Capricorn and he's an Aries. I don't know how that's gonna work like long term. He might just be like, oh, I'm over it. Like, I just want somebody to like, you know, die with, like write out the rest of my years with. I mean, whatever. They also open the episode talking about his, you know, the scandal that he was indicted or he got acquitted, I guess, off of the Rust movie set when he was getting charged with first-degree murder for on the set of for shooting the director Helena, I believe was her name. I know Alec Baldwin is an asshole, but I was totally on his side about that. Like, that's fucked. I'm glad that the girl who was the prop person. She was the one that got indicted, thank God, and charged with the murder, because at the end of the day, it was her who didn't check to see if there was a real bullet in the gun, which is crazy and bizarre. So they're talking about that. They're getting ready for, to leave the city to go to the Hamptons, which, mind you, they live in like a 5-bedroom, 5,000 square foot penthouse New York apartment. I kind of love that they live in New York, but that is pretty cramped. If you ask me, they have 3 dogs, 3 cats. Alec is allergic to cats. He is trying to have input, and she's immediately, no, Alec, you listen to me, in her like fake Spanish accent. It's just kind of weird. They're going to the Hamptons, and she has to like plan out on paper a seating chart with all of her kids. My fear is that I would forget like a small baby or like an animal. Like, could you imagine? Oh my God, get this, because they packed up the dogs and the cats in like the backpacks and shit. Could you imagine if you were like, oh, we have all the bags, and then you forgot the dog or the cat, and then you're gone for the summer, and like the cat's just sitting there and it's like little backpack? That would really like keep me up at night. Like, that would really scare me. That didn't happen to them, but I feel like that would happen to me, and that's petrifying. He's allergic to cats, and he was like, I want the boys to ride with me, and then the girls can ride with you and the nannies and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, everybody's going to ride with me, and then you can ride with the cats down there. Mind you, they only have like a Range Rover and I guess an Escalade. She's driving the Range Rover with the 7 kids, the nannies, and the 3 dogs. Can all of those people fit in there in the range? What is that? Like 9 people? I'm not good at math. I don't know. But like, he wants the boys with him in the Escalade, and she's like, no, just the cats. Deathly allergic. He talks about how he had this roommate that had a cat, and he had to have an EpiPen, and it was like a whole thing. And then he told Hilaria that, and then the next day she got 3 cats. It's like fucked up. I know the show's gonna get canceled, but I am gonna watch every bit of it because I'm kind of fascinated with that dynamic. And like, he is like an A-list actor, and then now he's like a reality TV star. Alix Earle has been dropped from the Unwell Network with Alex Cooper. I don't know if she was dropped per se or she left. As soon as I saw this headline, I had the remembrance of when like it was going around on TikTok how like, Alex Cooper latched on to Alix Earle and was like, they're the same, they're doing this promo, we're promoting her. That was when we like wanted Alix Earle to have a TV show, and instead we got a podcast. Whatever. They were like in Miami, and Alex was like, yeah, let me pretend like I'm 23 or like 21 at the time, and we're partying and we're binging and like all this stuff. And there was like a lot of promo, and like Alex Cooper went to Alex Earle's New Jersey home and was like interviewing the family. How do you feel that Alex is a sensation and blah, blah, blah. Okay, there were like rumblings on the internet saying like Alex Cooper is latching on to Alix Earle, and then as soon as she's no use to her anymore, she's gonna dump her within a year. Babe, this literally happened like within a year. People, Alix Earle says she has no idea what's going on days after her podcast was dropped by Alex Cooper's network. The influencer 24 shared on TikTok on February 28th that she had a mad week in the wake of the news. Influencer Alix Earle is opening up about how she's doing since the news broke. The outlet noted that the company has renounced all rights to Hot Mess and said SiriusXM will no longer sell ads for the show. Earl24 joined the network, which also hosts Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast in August of 23. Literally year and a half. Now, in a video shared on TikTok on Friday, February 28th, Earle has revealed there's no mention of like what happened or what's going on. I know Dave Portnoy is trying to recruit her to Barstool because Grace O'Malley is now on Unwell. She left Barstool and left Brianna Chicken Fry and went to Unwell. So I don't know. It's kind of like real estate. People just kind of move around. Like, who cares? I don't know if there's any like lore or tea there or whatever, or maybe Alex just wanted to be on her own. Alix Earle wanted to be on her own or at another network. But there are rumblings also. Again, these are rumors, and I even hate that I'm about to say this, but they have said that Alex Cooper is hard to work with. Now, I think any woman in business who has a strong personality is going to be, quote, labeled hard to work with. I don't think that's fair. I think Alex Cooper works really hard and does deserve everything she's gotten. I mean, if you followed her from the Call Her Daddy days with Sophia, whatever that girl is, Sophia with an F. Again, we don't even know who she is. I know she does have her own podcast and a lot of people do follow her. but not like Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper really made a name for herself. Call Her Daddy used to be basically like porn in your ear. And now we're interviewing the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, because I'm in denial. You know what I mean? So I know whatever Alex does will be good. She also accidentally stood up Bethany Frankel this week, and she said she felt really bad about it. There was like misunderstanding, and Alex, like I'm like, I know Alex, I don't. But she did feel really bad, and then she like went out with Bethany Frankel again. Her and Braxton paid for dinner, like all these things. It's like a big, I don't know, if you're not on TikTok, you don't get it. But okay, this was kind of funny that I saw. So do you guys remember Boy Meets World? Obviously with Corey, Topanga, Eric, Sean, Angela, all of them. Okay, Danielle Fisher, isn't that her last name? Official. She has a podcast with Eric and then writer, I don't remember Eric's first name. I mean, real name. And then Ryder Strong, who played Sean. So they all have a podcast together and it's called Pod Meets World. They had on Matilda something or other, who was Eric's Boy Meets World, Danielle Fisher and Maitland Ward feud on Pod Meets World. Do you hate us? Basically, she had her on, and this is kind of Maitland's point, like, you had me on for views, but Danielle was like, we didn't. You're sitting here rumbling, like, talking about us, how, like, you know, you were excluded, and you were like, we weren't friends on set, and blah, 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 all this stuff, and Danielle literally rips her a new asshole, and is like, I don't need you for ratings, boo. All of this, I'm gonna link it in the show notes, because it was so funny.
Maybe a more broad, general question for you is, do you hate us?
No, I don't hate you.
Okay.
I don't hate you. I think that you hate me because you wouldn't speak to me on when we would go to Girl Meets World and everything. And
Okay.
that was hurtful. That was
Okay, I wouldn't speak to you?
No.
I did talk to you.
No, not really.
I don't feel as though I was not good with you, but I definitely didn't have a relationship with you that was like, oh my gosh, my long lost friend, Maitland.
But
I was working. It was a very, very difficult set. So you don't listen to the podcast regularly, but your overall opinion of it is that we are negative about Michael and Ben and the show.
Be honest about this. You're trying to go at me now to get the ratings because you know that people will be interested in
Maitland.
I don't want to go with you guys. I just want to remember good times.
No, Maitland, sorry. I'm not the one who wanted to go for ratings. I'm the one who texted Will to ask for your phone number so that, like adults, we could have a conversation off the air. When you said rock the stats, I realized, got it. This isn't someone who's seeing an opportunity to, again, use this opportunity to get into the ratings. So this is what you asked for. I wanted to write you a text and say, can we talk about what our feelings are?
Genuous to have to be reminded that you unfriended me from Facebook.
Stars, they're just like us. Unfriended from Facebook, started all this drama. I thought that was like so funny when I saw it. I mean, very, again, niche content, very like millennial core. And that was that. I just think that was like a weird fight. Is anybody up to date on the Alabama Barker versus Bad Barbie and then Landon Barker singing The Fray on TikTok? Well, if you're not, Landon apparently, I found out, is singing The Fray, doing all these weird TikToks because he's opening for The Fray. Alabama Barker is daughter of Travis Barker, stepdaughter of Kourtney Kardashian, full daughter, biological daughter of Shanna Moakler, okay? Bad Baby is the girl that said, "Cash me outside, how about that?" That was on Dr. Phil, that took the internet by storm when she was like 13 years old, okay? Something about they are going after the same man and they are both now putting diss tracks out. I didn't know that Alabama Barker, what's funny is Alabama Barker like pretends to kind of be, you know, this caricature and like idolizes and tries to become black women, which is fitting to be now part of the Kardashian family. it's like you're rich trying to be like hood. Like you grew up completely different. You know what I mean? It's like a costume. It's a gimmick. It's weird. Don't like it. Bad Barbie, on the other hand, I guess is rags to riches because she got her fame off of Dr. Phil and always wanted to be a rapper, has always tried. And I do think she's had like some hits. They apparently are like creating diss tracks about one another because they're dating the same guy. Bad Barbie's baby daddy, I think, cheated on her with Alabama Barker. Also, Kourtney Kardashian made a comment recently because there was rumblings about Mason Disick, who's 15, has a child. Did you guys hear about that? That was wild. I didn't believe that. But she made an announcement yesterday saying, I rarely, give light to any rumors, but this is about my child. He does not have another baby. This is completely false rumor, blah, 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 blah. I am glad that they put it to rest because I feel like you do never know with that family. And remember when he had that Instagram account when he wasn't supposed to and was like letting out all the tea, the family tea. And then now he's like a teenager. So he's like, oh, I can't do that anymore. But that was like when he was like in elementary or something. That was like a couple years ago. Our grand dame, Karen Huger, is sentenced to 1 year in jail for her DUI. This is crazy to me because she could have got 60 days in jail. And now she said, let's go to court. I want a jury. The jury's going to see. We're going on trial. And now she's getting a year in jail. I do have an audience member here with me today, Danny. We are huge Real Housewives fans. Her 4th DUI. She was like, release the tapes. You're going to see that, I'm innocent. She said that she's Thomas Jefferson's concubine. And she said, you're white and poor to the cop. Actually could be true. Gave herself the name of the Grand Dame. She's now the 3rd housewife in recent years to go to jail. We have Jen Shah, who's actually getting out next year in 2026. We have Karen Huger and we have Teresa Giudice, let alone all the housewives that had mugshots, but those are the ones that have gone to jail. I feel bad for Karen. Actually, I don't feel bad for Karen because that's literally her 4th DUI. Thank God nobody has been hurt or injured anything like that in the meantime of her other 3 DUIs. And she's 65 and finally went to jail to reap the consequences of her actions. Rightfully so. I mean, the way that she wanted a jury and they were immediately like, no, jail. Rightfully so. She didn't go to the Potomac reunion. It is what it is. Michelle Trachtenberg died. You guys know her as Georgina Sparks from Gossip Girl, from The Ice Princess, from Buffy the Vampire. Amazing early 2000s child actress. She's literally worked since she was a child all the way up to her 39th year of when she passed away. Apparently, she passed away from a liver transplant, and that was from her alcoholism. Apparently, she had a struggle with alcohol, and she recently got a liver transplant. It, I guess, didn't go so well. People were really worried a couple months ago about how sickly she looked. I mean, she looks really frail, really bad, which makes sense that she probably needed the liver transplant and/or her body was rejecting it. And I just think it's all over really sad. And the way that, it is with child stars, kind of get the help and the guidance that they need once they're, to transition to adulthood. I feel really bad for her, but we don't really know too much at this time. I watched Traitors last week and I literally fast forward to part of the episode. It was so boring. I was over it. Spoiler alert, Danielle asks Brittany to be a traitor. Brittany accepts. Of course, I'm bored. I kind of wish she would have said no, been murdered. So after that, I fast forwarded the challenge. I didn't understand the challenge, didn't care. I'm fast forwarding to the round table and then it leaves on a cliffhanger it's a tiebreaker between Ivor and Danielle. You guys can honestly believe that Ivor is a traitor. Come on. And what's crazy is Danielle brought it to between Gabby and Danielle and nobody voted for Gabby. Everybody randomly voted for Ivor, which didn't make sense. They leave on a cliffhanger. I don't even care. The season finale is next week. I really don't care who wins. I really want Dylan and Gabby to win, to be honest. A little bit of Dolores, even though she's not playing great, but I just definitely don't want Brit. I actually don't even mind if Brittany wins, but I really don't want Danielle to win. The point of bringing this up is apparently, especially after Caroline Carolyn got booted off a couple weeks ago. She went on her Patreon and said that Danielle broke her NDA and told Brittany that she was a traitor from day one. Carolyn has now since deleted the Patreon, but there have been other stars that have confirmed that Danielle broke her NDA and told a couple of people that she was a traitor. She swore on her grandkids' lives, all of these things and blah, blah, blah. And I guess people are up in arms about swearing on the grandkids' lives, which I do think that's actually weird for like a game. You know what I mean? A lot of them, not the whole cast, but a lot of them were at a group dinner recently. And the check is between Danielle and Brittany, who are sitting across from each other. And people are reading into that, saying that it's giving winnings, a winning dinner, and that like, oh, I got it. I'll pick up the check for all of you guys. I don't care. This season is such a flop. It's like insane. Not interested. Did you guys see that Shrek 5 released a trailer? I love Shrek. I think I've talked about this many a times on the podcast. I literally love Shrek. I watch Shrek all the time, actually. I was on a date with this guy months ago, or like no, my God, was this last year or even 2023? I can't even remember. I literally was like, let's watch Shrek, and he was like, Shrek? And I was like, yeah, it's a great comfort movie. I had a Nintendo that had the Shrek game. I didn't have any like Shrek merch, but like, I literally love Shrek. I hate the animation. Apparently, there's another conspiracy going around TikTok saying that they released a couple-minute trailer of the new animation to kind of gauge the audience's interest about the new animation, and everybody's fucking hating it. I do love that Zendaya's the daughter. So like now like the kids are grown, but like bigger. So Zendaya's the voice of one of the daughters. Cameron Diaz is back out of retirement for this role, but the animation is like giving trolls and I don't like it. We need to go back to the old animation. They're saying that because it's not coming out till like 2027, they have time to redo all of the animation. And I think they should really spend their time wisely and do that. Is anybody watching White Lotus? My audience member Danny is saying that he did watch White Lotus, or is watching this season 3 of White Lotus, but hasn't seen season 1 and 2. Season 1 was drab. Season 2 was really good. I cannot get into season 3. I've tried to restart it at least 3 times and I can't get into it. I thought season 1 was boring as hell. And it's giving kind of same energy. Although, I don't know, I am going to watch it, but it's not going to be in real time. So that's all I have on that. The Epstein list was released. I didn't see any lists though. It was released to like 15 alt-right influencers. So I guess they're doing their journalism on that, and then we'll see that next week or never. Who knows? I would like to know who was on that list. I guess also doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Is dropping the list really going to like change things? No, I don't think so. Andrew Tate is back in the fucking US after sex trafficking charges. Literally blocked. That guy is blocked everywhere on my algorithm. Fuck no. Any guy who says that they like Andrew Tate or like, oh, great motivation, chopping your dick off. That is fucking, don't get me started. I truly will get so heated. I don't care because about this Epstein list, like a climax that like never came. And 2, like we're just so far past it. The veil has been dropped. We're so desensitized, everything that the government is doing. I mean, they released that aliens are real and no one gave a fuck. You know what I mean? They were just like, oh, whatever. Like we knew. They literally released it. I don't think that anybody's going to care about this list. We know who the big hitters are, and nothing is really going to change, I fear. 2 more stories. Teddy Mellencamp has come out and said that her brain tumors are malignant. She's going to undergo radiation. She's shaved her head. If you don't know, Teddy Mellencamp is a former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star. I mean, it's really sad. A couple of years ago, she had skin cancer on her back. She got it taken care of. She has been really forthcoming with those photos as well and all that information about like showing the scars on her back. I guess people are saying that the melanoma got into her brain. I don't know if that's how cancer works. It is really sad. And again, she has little kids. So I really hope she overcomes this and really praying for Teddy. Last thing, have you guys seen that California has passed this new law? If you're a mommy influencer or family vlogger, that you have to start paying your kids a salary and or trust fund. A lot of these influencers are moving from California to Nashville. I don't know if you guys have seen this lately, but the LeBrants, Insufferable, they're moving to Nashville. Who else is moving? Like literally so many influencers are moving, which is so fucked up because like you don't want to pay your kids. You don't want to pay them a salary to perform in your content. I honestly, it's a sick world. I cannot wait for the demise of family vloggers. I think this Ruby Frankie situation is literally the tip of the iceberg. I think it's very dark and twisted. It's sick. I think it's mentally ill people having, you know, kids for fame and fortune because yes, like for whatever reason, I mean, it's not me as the audience, but for whatever reason, people love a pregnancy announcement and love a kid announcement. All I'm thinking about is how are you going to support this family and this economy? Okay, even Alec Baldwin, like I know like you're a famous actor worth millions of dollars, but truly that can only go so far because like you have 7 kids to put through college and you know you're spending $30 million on this penthouse and all of the like he lives lavish, like he'll be fine. But my point is like you still have to be on a budget. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It has never sat well with me for like these influencers to use their kids as content, especially like the babies and stuff. And also I think you're breeding narcissistic children. You know, you're breeding kids who are super impressionable to be obsessed with looks and be vain and conceited and, you know, seeking outside validation and just being really insecure and like all these things. I just think it's like really bad. And how disgusting that all of these family vloggers are moving to Tennessee and other southern states or just other states doesn't have the law. And I guess Nashville is just like another influencer hub like LA is. And it's like more southern. I think Nashville's boring. If you're literally not going to Broadway and if you're over the age of 23, I think it's boring. That's just me. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you this episode. If you loved it, if you hated it, give me feedback. Please rate 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts. Follow us at coffee.meets.vodka on Instagram and TikTok. Follow Coffee Meets Vodka anywhere you get podcasts and on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.